Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1970s.
I quit being a skier in 1968 because the other skiers were mavericks.
This is episode 220, recorded July 17th, 2024.
Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Doc Rotten, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1970 and 1979. Each episode, my co-host and I will tackle another classic, or not so classic, film from this wondrous, groovy, gory, and influential decade. And we've got a doozy one for you today. Snowbeast from 1977, the TV movie. All right, let me introduce my crew, starting off with Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I love me some Clint Walker most of the time.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Clint Walker's doing something.
Ouch. Also joining us.
Too much clothes on this time. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, shiznizzle. Also joining us tonight is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, an all-around nice guy, and, as he's displaying there, a published author of some sort.
Skiing, lots of, I actually love to ski, but man, I saw more skiing in this this movie's got more skiing than Downhill Racer.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's a little more Snowbeast.
Nice. Less skiing, more Snowbeast. What was your book's title, by the way?
It is Raum, R-A-U-M. That's the name of a demon. So don't say it too many times when you ask for it at a bookstore or something. Probably safer just to get it on Amazon.
Write it down on a piece of paper.
There you go.
Yeah,
3 times. Write down 3 times. Yeah.
Don't bleed. Don't cut yourself. Don't get a paper cut and bleed on it. I am not responsible for crap that happens.
Bill, my nephew's wife is from Peru, and she told me that. You don't want to say the demons' names because that will bring them to you. Her family, her father, who was a bruja, actually said that.
They're scared to come around my family.
No, as we all are. Yes. All right, and that family would be the family of Chad Hunt, who is a comic book artist and co-host of Decades of Horror, the classic era, and the 80s, and a really swell fellow. How you doing, Chad?
I feel swell.
You do? I like your
swollen,
shirt.
One or the other.
Swole, just
my
swole.
age is probably swollen.
Show us the shirt. The shirt looks awesome. Show us the shirt.
Just Frankie.
Oh,
awesome. It's cool. It's cool.
Very cool.
Thank you.
All right. Let's just get into things. But before we do, Jeff, do you have something to say about Play Now Media?
Yes, we are partnering with Play Now Media, and they have a lot of streaming channels. And you can get Decades of Horror, the 70s, the 80s, and the classic era on the Wicked Horror TV channel. They're streaming channels, and I think they have like around 25 to 30 different, subgenre type channels. You can subscribe to them without paying a fee, and you will get some ads, and you will lose some of the premium content. Or you could pay a monthly fee and see everything without ads. So it's some good selections.
Absolutely.
Very good.
I like it.
Absolutely. And not to mention our podcast.
Yeah.
All right. We are here to give you a review of Snowbeast. We're going to give you our first impressions. When we saw it, what we thought of it then, what do we think of it now? Does it hold up? All that kind of nonsense. And then we'll get into a discussion about the film, the actors, and histories, and all kinds of tidbits and weird snow beastie things. And then we'll wrap the show up tonight with some feedback. We have feedback tonight, Jeff?
Oh, boy, do we have feedback.
I can't wait to get to it. Let's do the card. Now, I have 2 cards to choose from, Jeff. Which one shall I choose? Do you want to?
We're going to do both of them, so... Whichever
right.
one you want first, I don't care.
All right, we'll go with this one, which has the picture. The pictures itself have nothing to do with the movie, other than she's in it later in life.
Sylvia Sidney is in this movie as
yes, but the scenes are not from the movie. Is my point.
They are not. But
the actress is, but the scenes is not.
She was hot stuff in the 30s. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah,
right. And
in Beetlejuice.
I think, yeah, and Beetlejuice later in
Oh,
life. I think Jeff is remarking about how he thinks about this film by showing pictures from the 30s instead. The film is Snowbeast, 1977. Of course, it's a TV movie. It was directed by Herb Wallerstein. Written by Joseph Stefano. The cast includes Bo Svenson, Yvette Mimieux, Robert Logan, Clint Walker, and Sylvia Sidney. Production company was the Douglas Kramer Productions, and it was Universal Studios. It was filmed in Colorado, Crest Butte Ski Resort, Butte or Butte, Crested Butte in Gunnison,
and Gunnison.
In Gunnison. Yes, the release date was April 28th, 1977 on NBC Thursday night movie. I forgot they did Thursday night movies. Yep. Synopsis. The synopsis is a Colorado ski resort is besieged by a subhuman beast that commits brutal murders on the slopes.
How do you know it was subhuman?
And this is the other picture.
Oh,
Jeff, explain yourself.
Well, like I said, I love me some Clint Walker. I have a bit of a bromance with Clint Walker. This guy was built like a brick crap house. So he was in this. I watched that Cheyenne all the time. The other shot is from a movie, but you could find multiple shots of him like that because they knew what they were selling. And I actually, well, I was on the internet and looking for some videos of him, and there was actually a video of him using his home training equipment. You know, weight, and he had something that I don't know if he built it or not. It wasn't like you see now, but it was modular, and you could take stuff apart and put it different ways and do exercises. So apparently he did actually work out. So
there you go.
That's
all right.
There you go. And we'll talk more about him later on for certain. Let's get into our thoughts about this.
Our lady viewers need some.
Oh yeah,
something to look at too. Besides,
and some of the guys.
Did I tell you? I told you guys. Jeff has that poster of him shirtless on the back of his bathroom door, right? Did I tell you that?
Jeff, when did you first see this movie? What was your
wait, this is Chad's pick.
Yeah,
I don't care. You're first.
It don't matter. You can go first.
All right. So I'm going to say what I found to be the most interesting thing about the movie when they said part of it was filmed in Gunnison, because I've been to Gunnison, and the Black Canyon of the Gunnison River is a really cool place to visit if you haven't been there. So we'll just get that out of the way. Big granite canyon, kind of like the Grand Canyon, only it's granite, so it's not near as deep. Okay, when did I first see this movie? It was like just a few days ago. It wasn't something I watched on TV. And there's a lot of skiing. I swear it's about a...
it isn't a ski resort.
I'm not even sure if it's a...
It's about a shark.
I can't remember how long it is. It's probably about a 45-minute movie, and then there was about 35 minutes of him skiing, looking for people and beasts, and Clint Walker shooting some poor bear just so he could tell people they were safe now and they could have their carnival. Yep. I mean, this is so Jaws.
But they needed a mouth this wide. So I'm sorry.
Even when they even had really lame, cheapo Jaws music when the Snowbeast was about. You know how Jaws has a but up. Well, this one had something like that, but
yeah, this one went butt up.
Anyway, they growled a lot. You might get one. Do you get one full body quick shot?
You get the face in the window.
The acting, I guess, is okay, but the script is so bad. It's just it kind of reminded me of a dubbed script from a foreign movie that doesn't make. Nobody talks that way. Is my point.
A dubbed script.
So yeah, a dubbed movie. Okay, I don't know what else to say. Clint Walker is not in it enough. That's all I can say. and he has too many clothes on. Yvette Mimieux has too much. They all have too much clothes on. They're all wearing layers.
It's the winter. There's snow everywhere.
Anyway, yeah, there is. I'm done. This is
You're done.
I had fun. You know what? I had fun watching just because the dialogue was so silly. And every time I thought they were going to show us the Snowbeast, they skipped us. They either didn't show it at all, or you see a hand, which is
there's a lot of Snowbeast arm in this.
Yeah, and footprints. We saw footprints too. So.
Well, it's a Bigfoot movie. Of course, you're going to have footprints.
We didn't see, and there's no, it's TV, so you don't get any gore. What you get is people standing in a circle around somebody going, ooh, ooh. Then they cover them up with a blanket. So, especially in the water trough. Oh my God, the water trough. All right, I'm done.
She doesn't have a face.
I'm just.
It doesn't have a face. One of the best lines. That's the quote we should use. That's the quote we should have used.
How did I miss that?
Oh no, Chad!
Yes.
Thank you for picking this wonderful piece of toast.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
What did you think of this? Did you see it back in the day? And
no, this is the first I've ever heard of it or seen it. So imagine my surprise when I watched it and I hated it.
Imagine that.
Yeah, this was so derivative of other things and especially Jaws, and so badly written. And we just finished watching a movie called The Gorilla for Classic Era, and I had a lot of gorilla arms coming from behind walls and hidden passageways. I felt like this is the albino version of the gorilla, because just this white arm comes out. That's all you ever see of this. You
get a face
Yeti
in the window.
Yeah, that looked like a busted can of Pillsbury biscuits to me. Didn't look much like a face at all. But
Poppin' Fresh.
I love both the cast. I love the cast, but they had nothing at all to go with. And I tell you what, you can say what you want about Apple products, but on their on all the Apple products, when you're watching video, they have a little playback feature called playback speed. And they were, during all those non-essential skiing, 1.5.
They were skiing fast.
1.5 times speed. That's what you got to play it at. And it not only is it get you past that spot, but it's hilarious watching them ski that fast as well. It's like an old Little Rascals episode. But anyway,
Stone Cops, right?
Yeah, this movie's bad. It should have been better with the cast they had. Clint Walker. I'm a Clint Walker fan as well. I was so angry at what happened to him, his character. I hated it because I thought he was going to be the one to save the day,
Went out like a wimp, man. Jeez.
Yeah, went out like a jerk. But I did not like this at all. It had nothing redeeming about it whatsoever. So that's all I got to say about that.
It set a trap. Bill Mulligan, sir.
It's smart.
When did you first see this movie? What did you think about it? Does it hold up today?
I first saw it April 28th, 1977. Date that will live in infamy. I saw it the night. Okay, so there was back in the day, they used to sell a lot of cool, trashy horror paperbacks at the drugstore. When I was old enough to get away with it, I started buying those things up. And one of them I had was Snowman, about a 12-foot Yeti. And it somehow gets to the U.S. on an iceberg. And because of avalanches, they have to hunt it with crossbows that shoot nuclear-tipped arrows. It was ludicrous. Yes, it was 70s. An awesome book. And I somehow thought that was what this was when I went to watch it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wrote a story in second grade about the Three Stooges defeating a space creature with atomic grenades.
There you go.
I should have kept going with that.
I should have kept
Should
going.
have. Could have been a novel.
It was a market. Oh, I so wish I were writing back then, because you could just get away with all kinds of good stuff, and there was a market for it. Oh, this had none of that. This is so I saw it, and I was disappointed, one, that it wasn't the movie I thought it would be, and two, that it was the movie that it was, because it's got a good cast, but they're given nothing to do. It has a good writer, but he didn't give them anything to do. The weird thing about this movie, it feels like, and I almost wonder if it was meant to be like a half-hour Twilight Zone episode or something, because there's only about a half an hour of decent material, and then it's all padded out. If a character has to get somewhere, we have to watch them ski, and you feel like you're watching them ski every inch of it. There's no point in this movie where a good editor could not have hacked out at least half and maybe a bit more. You never want to show people going from one place to another. It's not interesting. And it's so
they did that a lot. They did that a lot more frequently back in the day, though.
Yeah. Like, especially, I guess, if you don't have any faith in your monster costume. And the monster costume, from what we see, I mean, I don't know if it was good or bad, because I don't see enough of it. It makes me wish they'd gotten a hold of the Shriek of the Mutilated costume. Never thought those words.
I thought about that.
You know, we see a lot of. We see from its point of view, we see, people reacting to it, looking at the camera like the camera is the beast. And you can say, well, the same thing happened in Jaws. The shark thing didn't work, so they had to show a lot. And that's absolutely true. And the difference is Jaws was directed by Steven Spielberg. And this guy, who did direct some decent stuff and everything, but he didn't have, he didn't have the time to come up with any plan B. I love TV movies from that time. I understand their limitations. We're not going to see a person rendered into pieces by a Snowbeast. But God, this was just bad. It doesn't hold up. It's not good. It's a waste of the talents involved. And it's just a bad Jaws ripoff. And there's a lot of Jaws ripoffs. Grizzly was a Jaws ripoff, but somehow that one worked. And this one definitely does not. It's rare when we watch a movie that I would just say, I don't know if anyone's going to get any enjoyment out of this. Just skip it and watch Fury of the Wolfman instead. But this one gets the coveted "Wish I Were Watching Fury of the Wolfman Again" award.
There you go. Wow, that's a statement. I remember this movie, and I remember the cast, because Bo Svenson and stuff like that, but I don't remember anything about the specifics of this movie. So I can't tell you if I watched the movie, if I just remember it being promoted. It's probably the death knell for Thursday night movies of the week, because I don't even remember that they did Thursday night movies of the week. So there's that, right? This movie's, when you compared it to Grizzly, so this movie and Grizzly are similar in the respect that they're Jaws ripoffs. They basically Jaws on land, right? Except for this one is more of a Jaws ripoff than Grizzly is somehow. I mean, they literally have the event that they can't, the 50-year anniversary thing. They have the cop who is, even though the cop isn't Brody here, the cop is more like the mayor, and says, he's like, no, we got it. We got the, it's a bear instead of the, because things. But
I don't mean to interrupt you, Doc, but they even said there's only way to find out. Let's cut it open.
They did. Yeah. They did. And I was like, oh, come on. I can't remember if I saw this movie, back in 77, if I did, it didn't stick with me. But I knew about it, and watching it this past week, I was like, oh, yeah, it's pretty bad. I did enjoy watching the actors, even though they're not doing the greatest of job and the script doesn't really support them. It was still fun to have them together, and realizing that, oh, hey, that's the lady from Beetlejuice. But yeah, this movie is it's bad. It's bad. It's really, it's not even campy. It's
No,
not even,
yeah.
it's just poorly made. And we don't get enough of the good stuff. You could argue there's some fun scenes. There's, they keep going back to that barn thing where the trough is. And there's a fun scene where it attacks them and, it's banging on the door and you can see it walking around outside, the shadows, or an arm comes through a window or something. But, that kind of scene is few and far between in this movie. Few and far between. Yeah, Snowbeast is a thing. Snowbeast.
This movie broke us.
It broke us. I don't think we disliked the movie so universally. Well, except for maybe one in particular.
Well, I kind of had fun with the dialogue. Was so bad. I was just listening to this. Going, oh my god, he said facetious. This is the...
I want to give him a little credit for having, since obviously we're not going to be showing any of the Snowbeast. Let's have some reason why we care about these characters. There's some history there. There's, a troubled marriage, and
love triangle, and there's
but I didn't.
And she was a reporter who actually did a report on Bigfoot, so that made sense that she knew what was going on. So they did. Yeah, there's layers in here that are set, but.
Well, I kind of like the thing when they go after they're going to go after the monster, and he goes, "Just the two of us." Or he says, "Just me, I'll go." And the other guy says, "Just the two of us." The other guy sticks his head in. You mean the three of us? And then Yvette Mimieux shows up. You mean the four of us?
Yeah.
The Four Musketeers.
Sounds
like Brody's wife came along.
Which would have been cool if they had atomic tipped crossbows, but instead of just,
that would have elevated this movie quite a bit.
Even if they would have had a decent monster.
Yeah.
A decent looking monster. I mean, I've been watching the $6 Million Man on Peacock rerun.
Oh my God, the Bigfoot in that.
I just watched the Bigfoot episodes, and that Bigfoot looks 100 times better than what this creature did.
Yeah,
and
it was
which was 2 or 3 years before this, right?
Yeah, and it was just a man in a suit, just like
right.
And he looked.
And I was here, and still am. I am huge in cryptozoology. I love cryptozoology. I love Bigfoot, Yetis, all this. So I was the audience for this film. I should have loved this thing.
Yeah. And Bigfoot movies were huge in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. They weren't very good, but they were huge.
They weren't very good, but they were huge. People went to see them. What was the one that we did? The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, right? No, not Sleepy Hollow.
Boggy Creek.
Boggy Creek, yes. Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Why? Why did I go there?
Bigfoot with a pumpkin head.
Oh my God. That would be awesome, though.
Yeah,
Bigfoot with a pumpkin head.
Riding on a horse with no head.
By the way, I watched God Monster of Indian Flats a couple of days ago.
Oh, God bless you, sir.
Oh, no, I bought the Blu-ray. And
I told you guys. I
finally can now see what the God Monster looked like. I never could tell before. It was so fuzzy and blurry. Now I can see what he looks like. But he looks
like something that you find in a Greek restaurant, and they slice little bits of meat off and put it bits of bread.
Well, his head certainly does. Yeah.
Except for one big long piece that's always knocking shelves over and cans off shelves.
He's got a Tyrannosaurus arm.
We're talking about God Monster now.
Yeah,
okay.
now we're
trying not to talk about Snowbeast.
So we dislike Snowbeast so bad. We're going to talk about
God Monster. That must mean, Doc, it must now be time for taglines with Chad.
No, it doesn't really mean that.
Which is sad because TV movies don't usually have very many taglines.
I figured I'd play it more just to add a little more suspense.
Well, thanks for that. They're padding the movie out like they did. They're padding the show out.
Let's ski for a bit.
All right. The taglines for Snowbeast stars follows. An unknown terror stalks a ski resort. You just never see it.
Well, that's the unknown part.
It's unknown.
Yeah.
Okay. But this sort of contradicts that. The legendary creature. It's half human. It's half animal. It's a cold-blooded killer. Well, is it unknown, or do you actually know what it is?
Yeah. Half and half. We've mapped its genome.
Subhuman.
Mind up, Herb.
Subhuman.
Herb.
Ski slope slaughter.
That
Say
sounds
that
like a
5 times fast.
that sounds like a song. Ski slope slaughter.
It sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon.
I know his boy Elroy.
It sounds like a Quinn Martin production. Tonight's episode, Ski Slope Slaughter.
A Quinn Martin production.
It's a slippery slope, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Well, that's been Taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
Oh yeah, they can. Yes. Yes, they can. All right. Posters for Snowbeast.
Really bad posters.
Well, I like the one on the bottom.
Top.
I like the one on the bottom. I mean, that some effort went into that. The one on the top, it's the beast face is so bad that at first it just looks like the mountains or more trees. It's hard to tell that that's actually anything.
Yeah, the one on the bottom looks to me like one of those old ads for air conditioning in the theater or ice machine at this.
Yeah, try our snow cones.
And the one on the top is like we have a cutout with a line drawn to it of the creature. And guess what? You're not going to see it any better in the movie either.
Yeah, this is it.
Well, the one from the bottom is obviously, given the font and the nice little white thing, is modern. But yeah, woof. Neither of them are the one that I've seen where it's I guess it's from a Blu-ray or something where it's
sort of cartoony.
Well, it's not. Well, it's illustrated. I don't know if we have that one or not. I guess we don't. That's the only posters we have.
Yeah,
it's like a
actually, yeah, I can pull it up, I think.
Yeah. But let's talk about the director while Jeff is doing that, because Bill, you said the director was a good director, so let's follow up with that.
He directed some very significant episodes of Star Trek original series. Tholian Webb, the one with the green girl. I don't remember which one that was. Those were colorful and entertaining, and they moved, and they had decent scripts, and there was none of that here. I think he's mostly a TV director. There's nothing wrong with that. You work steady, you produce a lot of material, but you're probably not going to be able to really, unless again you're Spielberg or someone who's just got that thing going for him. You might not really be able to put your individual stamp on things.
He did 2 episodes of The $6 Million Man, 5 episodes of Wonder Woman, 9 episodes of The Iron Horse. Did you watch that ever?
Never watched that.
Dale Robertson bought a weird railroad out west, and it's him riding around on a train. Anyway, and he was the AD for The Tingler.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, he did I Dream of Jeannie. He did Wild Wild West, Bill Cosby Show, Mission Impossible, Brady Bunch, Gunsmoke, of course, Pat Partridge Family, Happy Days, even. Everything that we watched during the 70s.
Yeah.
And this movie.
He probably did not put Snow at the top of his resume.
Yeah.
And this movie.
It's weird if anyway. I got that poster here, Doc. Is this the one you're talking about?
That's the one I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But I imagine I'd love to see what the TV guide poster, because I don't know if you guys were like me and you would get the TV guide each week and rummage through it and
circle things.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I had 2 of them, because I had the TV guide, and then the Washington Post would put out the Sunday their local TV guide thing, and that.
This might sound weird, but I used to cut them out and paste them in notebooks.
I didn't paste them. I used to like the thing you do with the photographs.
Oh, the little edges corner.
No, you remember you used to have you just be able to open it up and be sticky, tacky, and you just. Put
yeah.
Oh, sure.
Well, I've got like 2 of those sitting around here somewhere with old stuff in the 70s.
Wow.
If you could still read anything, if it hasn't all faded away. I haven't seen it in decades. Oh, me.
But he definitely was a working guy, but
oh yeah,
this doesn't even feel like it holds up to a TV episode. So.
no,
Yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah,
a little
I think
slapdash.
Bill said earlier, this seems like a TV episode that was expanded upon or something. And because you've got a little core story there and a lot of things happening, but it's over padded with all those extra scenes of just walking around and skiing.
I mean, they're trying to capitalize on a number of different, fads at the moment, from Bigfoot to shark movies to, whatever. But let's talk about.
He didn't do another. He doesn't have another script produced for 10 years in IMDb. So maybe this was like
Joe Stefano was the writer for this, and I think didn't he do a fairly significant horror movie?
Indeed, he did. Right there, Psycho.
Psycho.
Okay, now admittedly, he was working from a novel by one of the greatest writers of all time, Robert Bloch. But even so, Psycho is a damn good screenplay. It's really solid.
And he suggested changes that were used from the original book.
And if there's any doubts about his talent, it was just because he was working on a good book. The Outer Limits, he did a number of things for The Outer Limits, which is really good stuff. I'd say on a batting average, I think Outer Limits beats Twilight Zone and some of the other more well-known classic.
And I always thought he was the creator of that, but they list somebody else. I think he was like co-producer for maybe the first 2/3 of them, something like that.
There's Stefano, and there's the other guy whose name I'm drawing a blank on.
Yeah,
who directed Incubus.
He wrote 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And they still hold up. So he's a good writer. He's a good writer. I don't know if this was a rush job, if he wrote even more stuff they just tore out pages and said, stick in some more skiing footage here. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's quite possible.
It's
quite possible.
Well, he did also, this is surprising to me, or maybe not surprising, I guess, but he did a string of sort of thriller type TV movies in the late 60s and 70s. So there was, first off, was Ghost of Sierra de Cobra, which was originally supposed to be a pilot for a TV show with Martin Landau as a psychic detective. And you can find this. It's out there. I think maybe it's on YouTube. But it didn't get picked up. No. And then Eye of the Cat, Revenge, 1971, A Death of Innocence, 1971, Home for the Holidays, which may sound like it, but it's not a Hallmark movie. It's about a guy who's dying that asked his 4 children to come home for the holidays and asked them to kill their stepmother because she is poisoning the father.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It does sound kind of cool. And another one called Live Again, Die Again, which was about somebody that was sort of like a suspended animation thing, and then she wakes up 30 years later. So yeah, Psycho 4, the beginning, 1990. And a movie called The Kindred, which actually doesn't look too bad. It's got Rod Steiger in it, I think.
From the 80s, 87.
Yeah, from 87. But I didn't realize how involved he was with the Swamp Thing television show. He was the supervising producer for the 1990 Swamp Thing show.
Interesting.
And wrote 5 of the episodes. So
that was a pretty good show too. Not as bad as the Wes Craven movie was, but which I love that too. But it was a little more serious in tone and
yeah.
You know, like the Heather Thomas. Is it Heather Thomas? Heather Locklear?
Heather.
That was
Do you know like the sequel?
No, not as much.
Which Heather was it? Which one was it? Heather Locklear? Locklear?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did Heather Thomas come from? I don't know.
That's Heather.
Who's Heather? All right.
Adrian Barbeau was in the film.
Adrian Barbeau and some assets and certain cuts.
Yes. I have.
You've probably talked about there's an infamous cut where they left the boob shot in for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
And it's such a
She's no Clint Walker.
no, but
Oh.
no.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I can't. I run with it. I'm just.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. So here's some of the
Yvette.
cast. Yep.
Here they are. Here's the folks. And
Bo Svenson, who does well for. I mean, he actually tries to give some range because he's desperate for a job. He's not sure himself, but that kind of falls by the wayside once we shift from introducing the characters to chasing down the beast. It doesn't really come up anymore.
Yeah, that
You
could
know,
have
and the love triangle gets resolved early in the movie.
very
Like,
early. Yeah.
I was like, she's like, yeah, wake me up when you get back in the house.
because
Well, that's
doesn't
pretty. That's pretty interesting too, because he sees Bo Svenson sees the other guy, Robert Logan, kissing her,
Mhm.
and you think he's going to come in and lie it into her, and he just goes, "Hey, I saw that," and then they just laugh it off. Oh, I trust her, even though the guy said, "I'm still here,"
Doesn't it feel like screenwriting 101 that he's going to save her from the snow beast, and that's when it's going to rekindle her love and it just I don't know. It's a lot of setup.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe Stefano needed some money, and
It could have went a lot of
listen,
different
the
ways.
one thing I will never do is write off a writer just because something with their name on it sucks. Because the truth is, once the script is bought,
right?
their involvement is largely over, and everyone's allowed to dick around with their screenplay, and that's the oldest story in Hollywood.
He said dick around.
Dick. And some more. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. He's got a slide later, so I'll bring.
Well, I was going to get into the actual characters here. There's some more shots
Okay.
of all the actors.
Robert Logan.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's some bad hat, Harry.
There's
Yep.
it is.
Sylvia Saint.
Sidney. who's
Sylvia
the-
Sidney. Sylvia
the
Saint
rich-
was a porn actress. Never mind.
the rich old woman that owns the
No.
resort,
And
Clint.
Clint Walker.
Yeah.
Clint Walker.
I think a bear did it.
All right. So Bo Svenson, we just going to jump straight into some of his films. Wow, what a selection you've picked here.
There's one really good movie on that
No,
list.
there's no breaking point in this. You got all these other ones.
Well, I know
Or
our
Walking
audience,
Tall, rather. Walking Tall is what I meant to say. What did I say?
our audience knows what they like, and they like Curse 2, The Bite. Now, the best movie there is Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, which I don't think we've done, but we will one day.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Now, I'm looking through his,
Primal Rage.
I'm looking through his credits, and what is it? He made. Never mind.
Never mind.
Yeah.
He's such a tease.
Well, I can't figure it out. He's got a movie that says Inglorious Bastards, Stolz der Naschen,
Yeah.
der
Yeah.
Amerikanischer Schlachter.
From 1978.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quentin Tarantino took that title because he liked it.
and you just put an E instead of an A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He even does it kind of halfway references it in the movie too, right? So he acknowledges it. Anyway, yes.
Never seen it.
North Dallas 40.
Wizards of the Lost Kingdom. Look at that. Look at that cool cover. Kids holding it looks like a lightsaber riding a lion with wings. If you think anything remotely that cool is going to be in that movie, you are a fool.
They were thinking about putting Tom Hanks on the cover too, just to throw that in.
Yeah, why not?
What?
Yeah,
What are you?
No, I'm kidding.
2.9 on IMDb.
If you're going to false
wow.
advertise, just put Tom Hanks on the cover.
He's in Speed 2.
They
got
also
a
did a couple
different-
episodes of The Fall Guy there, Chad.
Well,
Wasn't he like the I can't remember what the original guy's name was. Joe Don Baker. What didn't he the one that
Buford?
replaced Joe Don Baker? And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he did the TV show after it. But he was in Inglorious Bastards with the E too. He played an American
Right.
Colonel, so he
Yep.
showed up there.
I don't think I've ever seen Beyond the Door 3, but I'm pretty sure it's the least of the Beyond the Door trilogy.
You think?
Well, one's pretty good, and the other's by Bava, and then there's this one, so I'm guessing this one takes a dive.
The Great Waldo Pepper is
Huh? That's a
World
movie.
War One
Yeah.
flying movie with Robert Redford.
Oh, he did a lot of cool movies, but I'm just saying, if you're the kind of person who would watch Snowbeast, here's 6 movies you can also add to your list.
Okay, I get where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
Didn't he? Am I thinking of somebody else? Didn't he play a Frankenstein monster somewhere? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think you're thinking of Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
Who played
Currently
the
playing
Frankenstein?
a Frankenstein monster.
I was thinking he did, but maybe not. I'm gonna have to.
You say that, and I was laughing, but now I'm thinking you might be
Yeah,
right.
it's got me thinking.
I don't see it anywhere.
Well, his first credit was an episode of Flipper
Whew.
in 1965.
Is that the one where the kid got in trouble and Flipper went and got help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love that episode.
Did he play the dolphin in that one?
Or
Yes!
the adult
He-
got in trouble. And the kids got Flipper, and he came. Yeah.
He played the Frankenstein monster in the 1973 Frankenstein film, and Robert Foxworth was
Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. But I don't see it in his credits. Do you guys see in his credits? 73. Am I overlooking it?
What's the
It's
title?
it's Frankenstein. It's not a hard title to find.
It's not in there.
It's not in there.
1973.
But he was in it. There's pictures. I've got proof.
Did Robert Foxworth have that big prophecy white guy fro at the time?
Oh, didn't he
Frankenstein.
always? Didn't he always? I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't lose that until the bear took it away from him.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's interesting. That's interesting. All right, here we go. Man Crush number 1.
Out of his credits.
What? We took it out of the credits.
You left, Bill. You don't have Killdozer on there.
I don't.
Oh,
You're right.
Bulldozer.
Which we covered.
Which we
Bisha.
Yes, we did.
Bisha. What do you got? The white buffalo in there?
Well,
And you're screaming,
see, I was going for a theme here. He's fighting a white buffalo, a wolf, and a grizzly. This guy does not like wildlife. And a
Does
snow
not.
beast.
Well, and
I've
then
got
there's the one
the
Doc
one
always
Buffalo,
brings
man.
up.
What's that?
Dirty Dozen.
Oh yeah, Dirty Dozen. Yes, and he was fantastic in the Dirty Dozen as Posey.
Would
I
you
love that
believe-
poster for the white buffalo. The buffalo in the movie is not nearly as cool as the one on the poster, but we all know that's how it was.
But at the same time, right, Chad?
For the day, yeah.
He did the voice for Nick Nitro in Small Soldiers.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
Let's watch that again. So I'm trying to find what movie. Let's see.
Why did I think he was in? I must be thinking of somebody else that he resembles. That he was in them. Why do I think that? Why do I think he was
Bess
in them?
Parker was in them.
Bess Parker was in them. They are, well,
Daniel Boone's.
they're not anywhere nearly
Right.
looking alike, are they? All right.
So Cheyenne, which we bring up a lot, had 108 episodes. And it was
we
one of
bring
those
up Cheyenne a lot.
rotating series that lasted. It took 7 years to do.
There it is again.
Yep.
Yellowstone Kelly. The picture there with the axe is from Fort Dobbs, where he plays.
This one up here.
Yes,
Fort.
he plays. His character's name is Gar.
Gar. Gar. What? Yeah.
Oh,
He'd have made a good
God.
Superman.
He was in the Ten Commandments. He played a Sardinian captain.
Oh. Flint, chest hair.
Flint
Yes.
chest.
Big,
Probably.
McLarge, huge.
Flint chest.
McLarge.
You're all crazy. You're all crazy.
Old mystery
You-
science reference there.
You threw me with that Night of the Grizzly. I'm going, he wasn't in Grizzly. No, he
Mm.
wasn't.
Neither really. All right, so let's move on to Yvette Mimieux,
Yep,
who's
love that.
a whole lot more genre films than I remember. But yeah, look at him go.
I mean, starting with the Time Machine, where she was just absolutely
Oh, God, she was in the time machine. Yeah.
sweetest thing as Eloy. Yeah. And Weena, I think her name was. That's a George Powell movie, and it still holds up. I love that movie. And you know, she didn't do.
I think Chad and I probably remember her from The Black Hole the most.
Yeah.
I remember the Time Machine the most.
Yeah, Devil Dog Hound of Hell. That is so. We haven't done that. Right?
Devil Dog.
We gotta do that one.
Now, okay, I haven't seen it. Haven't seen it in a long time, so this promise may bite me in the ass, much like
just like the dog.
Yeah. It's way better, as I remember it, than Snowbeast. Even though the dog. All right, look at that. Look at the cover there. They actually stick two little.
They do something similar. They do something similar in Devil Dog as they did in this movie. Is that when they cut the commercial, they go to all red.
Yeah,
they do that.
Oh, they did. Yes.
Yeah, because they did that. You could always tell when the commercials were coming because they go. They'd free frame and it'd go red.
Which, by the way, is something that John Byrne did when he worked on X-Men, and he did a Wolverine solo issue of X-Men. Yeah. And every time Wolverine slashed somebody, the whole panel would be red because you couldn't show blood in the panel then.
Yeah.
I remember being excited about going to see a movie called The Neptune Factor, which she's in, which is about this. It's just an underwater adventure movie in a submarine, right? Yes, a little bit more.
And the thing is, in the poster, they have all these, monster fish.
Yes.
And then you see the movie, and it literally, no joke, looks like it was filmed in a goldfish tank.
Yep.
She was.
Were you excited like I was to see that movie when it came out?
Well, the poster was great.
You thought it was going to be another Poseidon adventure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes
it was not.
She was in an episode of One Step Beyond.
One Step Beyond. Sorry, that's not entirely.
I feel like she was also in one of those classic Grindhouse movies. I don't think it's not Macon County Line, but something like that, where she's, one of these innocent folks who makes the mistake of driving alone down south and ends up in jail. And then
Jackson County Jail.
Yeah, Jackson County Jail. That's the one. Classic Grindhouse.
Yes.
Drive-in fodder. Boy.
Yep.
But for me, it's the Black Hole. I remember the Black Hole. But now that you say Time Machine, I don't make that connection, but I do with the Black Hole.
So basically, she should have fired her agent, as should everyone on this.
She might have. We don't know, right? So might have had feed all the agents to the
maybe, and I'll say that I've actually been to Crested Butte. I for a while lived in Denver, Colorado, and my ex-wife and I skied. We enjoyed skiing very much. Not enough to watch this movie, but Crested Butte was a great place to go. The skiing in Colorado is unbelievable. If you were raised on man-made snow in upstate New York, to suddenly go out to a place where it's real powder and just beautiful scenery. I'd ski there even if there was a murderous Yeti running around. It was gorgeous. So maybe these people signed up for this because they got to hang out in a decent place, and movies a lot of hurry up and wait. And when they're not filming your scenes, go skiing. I don't know. I can't think of any other explanation.
I guess not. Well, we haven't talked about Robert Logan, who plays I guess our lead. I guess he's the lead, right? He's the lead. Sort of, yeah.
He starts out as a lead, but Bo Svenson kind of takes over.
It does.
Yeah, they end up sharing. It was fun.
He looked like sort of a teen idol type character.
He did.
Pretty boy.
But I can't say as I recognize him from anything.
Not a whole lot of credits. Let's see.
I mean, I recognize some of the shows like Maverick and 77 Sunset Strip, Dr. Kildare, stuff, Daniel Boone even, but I don't remember him.
Death Ray 2000?
Death Ray? No, I don't remember Death Ray.
Death Ray 2000.
I remember Death Race, but I don't remember no Death Ray.
Pilot for the television series A Man Called Sloan.
That sounds what Death Ray 2000 is?
Yeah, hour and 40 minutes. But
and
there never was a series called A Man Called Sloan, I don't think.
Don't you hate it when your friends do that? It's like, from now on, Bill, I want you to refer to me as a man named Chad. Okay, Chad, whatever
gets the brand out.
They call me Chad.
Yeah.
Further.
Now, did anybody else find him overacting in this movie?
A little bit. He seemed way happy for a guy whose customers are getting
Dying.
eaten by.
Right. Right.
Exactly. All right, and then we don't have anything with your
Sylvia
favorite
Sidney.
actress. Yeah, I'm trying to get Sylvia Sidney. I'm totally like screwing up with a modern Sidney, but
I thought I had
we'll
something
forget that.
cool, but I guess I forgot to put it in.
Yeah, or it didn't
Yeah,
make
she
it.
has
in there.
112 credits. She was in Mars Attacks too.
Yeah, Mars Attacks,
Great in Mars Attacks.
famously.
Tim Burton gave her a lot of work.
Yeah. Well,
She was
Beetlejuice
good, though.
just
She was very.
She was the lady with the hole in her throat.
Yep,
that
yep.
smoked. The Bureau of the Recently Dead, or whatever that place was. called.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what you think of whenever you think of that particular thing. Well, you think of a lot of things, but she's the main part of it.
Oh, she was
Yeah.
great.
That you
She
think
was
of that section. And then, well, one movie that we've covered that she was in Damien Omen too. So
Oh,
she was Aunt
Oh,
Marion.
Aunt Marion. Okay.
Yeah,
she plays an elderly ball buster real well, but
she does.
the silliness of this, oh no, dead people is going to interfere with the snowball festival or what. I was like,
Snowball, but she was there when she was 16, and it's 50 years later. But she was in God Told Me To.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at her old stuff.
What
I'm not
I was
seeing
going to say,
any
what are some of the
30s.
films that you like? Yeah,
No, I just look them up for when they were young to see what they look like, because we've run into that a lot on classic era. That you get into the 60s, you go back and look at what they were doing in the 30s. I mean, and some of the best, like even Joan Bennett, and Joan Fontaine, they were quite a bit. So I'm looking through, and I think she's just in kind of standard stuff. I'm not seeing that there's a Western here and there, and maybe I don't see any noir though. There's a war movie, Sabotage, I think.
Hey, I'm getting some torrential rain here, so if I suddenly vanish, that's the reason.
If you're getting it, I'm
freeze.
going to get it soon.
I just am not seeing anything like that recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
But she started doing TV right away in the 50s. Craft Theater, Matinee Theater, Playhouse 90, General Electric Theater, the DuPont Show, all these shows that were, different actors. 20th Century Fox Hour. I bet Playwrights 56. Wow. Ford Television Theater. They had, God, surprising they don't have anything like that now.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, we do have pictures of the Beast, or No Beast, as somebody put on here. How did you get No Beast instead of Snow Beast? That's some shenanigans there.
Some Photoshop shenanigans. Just
Which is better than any of the effects in this movie.
I got a copy of this movie, and I'm going through. It's like I'm going to screen capture some shots here because I couldn't find very many online. It's like, no, they all suck. It's just lots of clutching hands, and one shot of his face, and that's not awful. From what I can see of this costume, there is no reason we couldn't have seen more of him.
That's what I thought, but
even if it was close-up shots, yeah,
lighting, moonlight,
just something with him lumbering around, or.
And I just want to say, the way this monster dies, the way that dispatched this monster. Okay, I resigned myself that I was not going to see nuclear tip crossbows. I was over that, but killing him with the ski poles.
Oh, come on,
that's got a prong on it about that long, right?
Yeah. Well, now don't get me wrong; those things are dangerous because if you ever go skiing, the most dangerous thing out there, you think it would be ice or trees or something. It's usually people who have no idea that they can't ski. They take the ride all the way up to the top, and then they just go straight down the hill at subsonic speeds. And they've got those poles out there like shish kebabs. Get out of my way, and you have to dive for cover.
Well, I will say that there's been a tree or two that have gotten in skiers' way.
Yeah. Oh, well, ask Sonny Bono. Yeah.
Ask Sonny about you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But But what my thought was this big lumbering thing with the big thick hide that I don't know how long those are.
They're not very long.
That was, we shoot him. We friggin' shoot him. And it doesn't put him down, but I stab him with a ski pole and down he goes.
It's old nemesis. Ski poles.
The old nemesis, yeah.
It was kind of like, well, it's time to end this. How are we going to do it? So you got a ski pole. Let's do that.
Yeah. Is it blessed by a priest or something?
It was blessed by a priest. But the Snowbeast has a convenient stack of cut logs that he can roll down the hill at our heroes. Like,
I cut these today myself.
I know. It's like, okay, one, why are they there? Two, why?
Logging.
I assume they were not from the Snowbeast.
Yeah, I thought they were logging, some kind of logging storage.
It still raised the question, if you're going to pitch your tent or park your car, you don't do it under this Swiss Family Robinson death trap thing there. It's like, no. Why would you do that?
Why aren't you out in the middle of the field or something?
And then
you're back at the barn or something.
I can never figure out why they park where they park in movies. It always seems.
I know, and it's so silly that when that happens, they have the guns in their hands.
Yeah.
But then they can't find the guns, and there's a lot of, and then of course our shirtless hero, our Jeff shirtless hero, goes out like a chump.
Well, that was the problem. He had his shirt on.
He had his shirt on. Well, if he had his shirt off, it would have been a different movie.
That's right.
Loves of the Snowbeast.
Maybe if you take your shirt off in front of the Snowbeast, it would have been a different, it's like, hey now.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, but she was like, the guns are in the back. The guns are in the front, in the glove compartment. Yeah, they're running back and forth. Where are the freaking guns?
Try the closet.
These people should try
the pantry. Didn't they say try the pantry?
Yeah, something like that.
And I don't know. Somehow these logs that are rolling down the hill broadside to this camper end up going in through the camper door in the back.
Hey, movie magic. That's movie magic, ladies and gentlemen.
Slipped on the ice.
Not a good movie.
Nope.
If you want to have fun, listen to the dialogue and go
watch something else.
Yeah.
Something else. No, I'd love to hear what people think of this. I'm sure there's many of our listeners watch this.
Actually,
right. Someone's like angry typing. How dare you?
I know.
Oh, I think we had a fair amount.
Clickety, clack.
Snowbeast, awesome.
Well, there are crappy movies that
you ruined my childhood. It's like, dude, if you spent your childhood watching movies like The Snowbeast, it was already ruined. There's nothing we can do. Take the L.
But let's just go ahead and put this one out the pasture. We think we've done our thoughts on it. Give us some feedback. And speaking of feedback, Jeff, do we have feedback?
Well, I'm checking something out real quick. So
crap! Are you now? Okay,
give me just a minute.
He's staring at the picture of Clint.
All right.
Yeah, I found some more pictures. Yeah,
of Clint Walker. Awesome.
Let's see.
Wow.
Well, I don't see it now. I would. Oh my God! If we got a lot of comments.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have no idea what Jeff is mumbling about at the moment, but thank you.
There it is. Oh, well, now I know who did it. I was looking to see when I posted the schedule for the month. I knew somebody put Snowbeast with an exclamation mark. You can guess who it was.
Jerry Chandler.
Chandler.
Yes. All right. Boy, have we got feedback.
Holy crap.
We got feedback.
So let's start off. I think I'll just go ahead and read
it never ends.
These short ones.
Thank you.
And apparently we have somebody who's going back through the catalog again. So
I love it. I love it when that happens.
We encourage all of you to do.
Episode 122, Jaws 2. Funny how that came up today. From Emulus 79. I hope those feasting seagulls didn't die from cyanide poisoning. Damn it, Brody.
Yeah.
Obscure reference, but yes. Yes. Damn it, Brody.
Episode 123, and now the screaming starts. also Emulus 79. Just saw this movie for the first time. Pretty darn good.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we had some crawling hand or something in that one, didn't we?
Did we chat? Did we?
Chopped off hand,
Something like that.
the servant.
I
All
probably
right.
pushed that out of my brain.
I know.
All right.
Yeah.
Episode 130, The Crazies. Emulus 79 says, a super pessimistic but somehow ingenious story.
Super pessimistic. Oh my gosh, that's a short.
Alidocious.
But
Super
pure
pessimistic.
Romero.
But ingenious. I
Yeah,
love it. I love it. I like that's one I like the remake too.
Mhm.
I did too.
Yeah.
Which they made in Iowa partially. Anyway.
Did they?
There's
Uh,
lots of
Burn all
crazies there.
that corn.
Ah, there's lots of crazies.
yeah, they're playing baseball out in the cornfield with a train going by. That's every small town in Iowa. Episode 218, jumping forward, Vengeance of the Zombies, from Scott Wells. Chad, could you take that?
Yes. Scott says, I need to watch this, but I did appreciate your sidetrack into Dr. Jekyll and the Werewolf, which I got to see when I was seeking out Nashi films, and I actually remember really liking it. The story, as I recall, has a lot of similarities with Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, but more sensibly uses Jekyll instead of Frankenstein, given that both Jekyll and werewolves play on the duality of man. I liked it, and I really hope you do get to cover it.
That might be enough to convince us to do so. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure we will.
Thank you,
It
Scott.
doesn't take much to convince us to do
That's
it.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott. And from Robert Baker, Bill Mulligan, could you take that?
Sure. Robert Baker says, as someone who is very familiar with Paul Nashi films, I can say that you have gotten the lesser efforts out of the way. He himself was not happy with Fury of the Wolfman and rated it as his least favorite film. Can't argue with him. One thing you might find amusing is that when I got Vengeance of the Zombies on DVD years ago, there was quite an extensive booklet of notes on the film. In those, Paul Nashi reveals that for years after Vengeance was released, he used to get letters from a guy who claimed to be an expert on the occult, telling him what was accurate and what was not, just not right with the supernatural concepts presented in the film. Wouldn't those have been fun to read? Also, when it comes to the different titles of all his films, Nashi said he had no clue how many there were, since he only remembered the names each movie was actually made under. People would ask him about titles he didn't even realize he was in. My favorites of his would be Werewolf Shadow, Night of the Werewolf, Horror Rises from the Tomb, Hunchback of the Morgue, Inquisition, and The Beast and the Magic Sword. But I enjoy the others as well. For that last title, you just don't get very many 2-hour-long epic werewolf versus samurai films, do you?
We don't.
LOL.
I was just thinking that today.
Yeah. And I love this next one. But oh, how I would have loved a Werewolf versus the Blind Dead film. Yeah.
Chad, there's a comic.
Yes.
There you go. Just a follow-up comment about the Nashi Mummy film. He did indeed play the mummy as well as the mummy's modern-day ancestor. Gory for a mummy movie, too.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Mr. Baker. And on to a couple on episode 219, which was just released today. Who Can Kill a Child?
I can.
First up, Mikey Z. Doc, can you?
You want to do Mikey Z's?
Yeah.
All right. I can do that. I think I can do that. Let me do a little camera work here. Mikey Z says, this might be the creepiest kid film of them all. This disturbing 70s downer. From the opening footage to the World War II concentration camps to other atrocities around the world, the film gives a rationale why children would become mass murderers. A very well made film, surprisingly, mostly in English, even though it was made in Spain. The leads are exceptional, especially Prunella Ransom as Evie. Did I pronounce that right? I think I did.
Mm-hmm.
Her transition from an average tourist to a truly horrified victim of the madness that has overcome the children on the island of Almanzora. Her final scene is horrifically realized.
Yeah.
The direction from Narcisco Ibanez Serrador. Yeah,
That's
we'll go with
got
that.
it.
Very good. All right. Is fantastically disturbing. The initial pinata scene sets up the second one beautifully. The grinning, wordless, for the most part, children are wonderfully realistic. Yeah, that's part of what makes that movie really work, I would say. When Tom wields the machine gun towards the kids, I thought another outcome would be in the result. I thought the suicide was going to be Tom's fate. Saw the excellent resolution subtitled version on YouTube. Great to see Daphne joining the 70s crew. Great pick. Jeff Santos would have loved the final confrontation scene, but not enough of the evil ones were eliminated.
Yeah. That is true. I wonder. I don't think I ever heard Santos talk about this, so I wonder. I can't believe he didn't see it. I mean, the title would just jump out at him, from some black market.
Dead kids.
Thank you, Mikey. And now from Jose Luis Herrera Lapron, and I'll just read this one. This is one I've not seen, but of course I've read quite a lot about it, including, surprise, surprise, in the Encyclopedia of Horror.
Ah, yes.
And Bill, I have that Bradbury story in a pulp book. Can't remember the name right now. The final paragraph with the children at the door and the shadows of the aliens in the background.
Yeah.
And it came to me. 0 Hour is the name of the story.
0 Hour.
And the little the little alien thing that's talking to the kids is Drill. If that rings.
Never forgotten that story except the name.
And that's one they did on Ray Bradbury Theater too. So
that's a good one.
That's it for feedback. But hey, folks, we appreciate it. Mikey Z, thank you so much. Jose, Robert Baker, Scott Wells, and Emulus 79.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your feedback, and we'd love it. Give us more. Do we know what the next?
Oh, we do. I forgot to write it in there, but we do know. This is Bill's pick.
Yes.
What have you done, Bill?
It's actually one of my favorites, and I think it. I'll see if it holds up. It definitely has a lot of resonance for today. It is Colossus: The Forbidden Project.
Oh, okay, far out. All right. Okay.
That one I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now remember, you got to remember for this one, this is a computer taking over the world. But back then, computers had lots of little spinny wheels and flashy lights, and you put cards in them and everything. So, all right, you got to accept the fact that the technology, nowadays the computer that will take over the world will look a lot like this.
I think it's already happening.
Probably has already happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even War Games was a little.
Will it talk in the voice of Paul Frees?
No.
I hope so, because that's pretty cool.
I think Eric Braden's in this, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. But it was theatrical though. It wasn't TV, right? Or was it?
No, it was theatrical.
Okay, good.
Yeah, early too, 1970.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Braden. Susan Clark.
Yeah, we got some cool people in it.
William Shallert. Patty Duke's dad.
And by a director who did everything from The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 to Jaws 4. That's a hell of a range.
He needed to buy a house too.
Marion Ross.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Richie Cunningham's mom.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
All right. Jeff, Bill, Chad.
Fun.
Yeah, we'll be. Thanks for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Even
though it was a
more fun than the movie was.
All right. Let's say good night.
Night.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.